So it's all accumulative. But that was a fairly profound experience. But I didn't have a typical NDE. I didn't remember anything. I just remember thinking, well, I was really lucky.
So how did you find out? You were telling me that you did some hypnosis and
then I did some regression about, I think, within the last year. And I was just interested because I'd trained in hypnotherapy, so I had a number of friends who were qualified in hypnosis. So
that would be 7-8 years ago that this happened.
7.5, yeah.
Because, well, the thing that's interesting is it's only, my mother passed away 7 years ago, January, and it's only in the last few months that I actually recognized that event was a pivotal moment. Because, like you, I didn't see the light and the tunnel and everything. So I just recently thought, the last 7 years has been so, I don't know if bizarre is the right word, but magical, lots of things occurring that never should have occurred or I didn't believe could occur. And so I've started to research and find that, in fact, it was a pivotal moment, an impactful event, a spiritual event in actuality, probably. And it sounds like you've got the same. So you've just uncovered basically kind of what had taken place while you were unconscious.
Yes, really, and it was amazing. It was wonderful.
Sorry. Yeah, it's wonderful.
I mean, I can tell you a little bit about it if you want.
Great.
The first experience was she took me back, and I just remember sensing butterflies, and these big butterflies. I got a sense of walking, but that's what it feels like, sort of walking in a meadow with a spiritual being.
Okay.
I was really communicated to that I had a choice. I could stay or I could go. I chose this before I was born. If you feel that he didn't say these words, but and I get a sense that he was male, but he didn't look a bit androgynous really. But I got sort of more of a sense of male energy, and that if I'd had enough, if I couldn't hack it anymore, I could come home. But I'd chosen it for the learnings and the lessons. It's that I have purpose. So it's communicated to me more about purpose, that everyone has purpose, and that everyone is a light worker. And I thought, well, everyone's a light worker. Everyone's here to bring light to the world, and not all of us are able to do that. We're not awake to it. We don't understand why we're here. The way to do that is to come out of fear and into love as much as you can, and you're a co-creator. And to discover purpose, everyone here is on purpose. We're here literally to co-create heaven on earth. How that will look like, I've got no idea, but it's evolving in that way where we are, even though what's happening in the world right now there might always appear so much fear and so much ego and all the rest of it. We are evolving, and we are becoming more loving and compassionate towards one another, whether people see it or not. There certainly is a lot of chaos, but there's always chaos in change. There is a growing number of people who are caught in that chaos, but paradoxically, there's a growing number of people who are becoming more awake and more spiritually aware. And you only have to have a certain number of those people in order to be able to create that change in consciousness. And if you tie that in with the 2012 and everything else,
this sort of understanding of spirituality before that you had your experience?
Yes, but not intellectually, but not necessarily emotionally.
Okay.
So I intellectually understood it. You read books, and I didn't know it as much as that in the way that I'm really emotionally understanding. I'd quite often read books and material and didn't really get it.
Yeah.
I understood it. It made sense, but I didn't emotionally understand it. And there's a difference between intellectually understanding something and emotionally understanding it.
Yes, exactly.
And when you emotionally understand it, you're able to take action because you're much less fearful. You're doing it out of purpose, and you're doing it with love, or love for yourself and humanity.
So after you came away from this being, and it spoke to you and explained things to you, and told you about your choices and your purpose, did you feel? I mean, I know you uncovered this later, but your actions in life changed after you had this experience, didn't they? You began to get better slowly?
But slowly began to get better. I became more acutely aware of my actions and causing pain to other people, which is quite a classic NDE thing. You know, I work on myself all of the time, but I'm not a highly evolved being. So my actions sometimes do cause pain and hurt to other people, and of which I, as much as I can, go back and resolve and apologize. And I was aware of that before, but probably not as aware as I am now. Even
may not have been up to doing the going back and apologizing part.
Well, it's really like people say after an NDE, that they say that they've been aware of all of the pain they've ever caused anybody in their life, and you feel it. So I got a sense of that. Thus, I, as much as I can, and become more conscious of my actions and what I'm doing in the world. And I still.
Have you always been a healer? Because you mentioned, giving healing and Reiki and such.
No, I think I was in my early 20s. I found it all very new agey, and kind of I wasn't really. It interested me a little bit, but I'd got much more interest in playing the guitar, and it didn't quite fit in with that, Britpop 90s sort of culture. And it started to become aware of healing, and I found it interesting. And then I got into it, I think. In 2000, I studied sort of Reiki in 2000, and I'd already started some counselling in 98. So I started to look at the mind and how it could affect the body. But I never really realised how much the mind could affect the body until probably only really in the last 5 years, since sort of the
tapping and meridians.
Yeah, and the explosion of probably, EFTs become more brought into consciousness, and mind-body medicine and mind-body connection, messages from the body, all that.
Yeah.
It's.
So would you say too that after your experiences, you've had numerous, again, starting from 12 years old, did you have any paranormal type activities going on after you had your near-death-like experience?
No, not what I'd call paranormal. I've always had deja vu a lot.
Okay.
That's never really been explained. And I've had, other people have called me psychic. I'm Cancerian, I'm a latter Cancerian. I think water signs tend to be a little bit more into feelings and intuition. So that might have explained that. But I would have deja vu a lot. So I would see, oh right, I'm here now, am I?
Oh yeah.
Oh right, I'm now here. So it was, and I'd have quite vivid dreams. Sometimes, occasionally, I was seeing things again. I would dream something, and then it could be as much as a few months later that I've been here. I've actually in this moment, and that's one of the weird things I think with sort of like deja vu, is that a lot of people have it. And it's kind of like almost just written off as sort of, well, you've probably just, associated it, and, but rather like near-death experiences, and the ones that are recorded, such as blind people are able to see.
That's right, yeah. What about synchronicity? Did your synchronistic events change, or as far as becoming more and more frequent?
Yes, and I think that happens much more when you're in alignment with who you truly are, or you're performing purpose, or you're living much more purposefully. Then you create a magnetic lifestyle, basically, because you're being who you truly are. So when you're being who you truly are, you get to do what you need to do, and when you get to do what you need to do, you have what you want. But people do it back to front, so they live lives without purpose, and or don't know what purpose is, and they may well accumulate stuff and things and money and relationships or whatever, but it doesn't bring a sense of happiness, and they're kind of scratching their heads why, or not scratching their heads why and just trying to get more stuff. But so I think that when you're doing things that you love, or you feel that you're living life purposefully, then synchronicity comes into play, definitely.
And you used the word purposefully and on purpose. is also something that I tend to use. I talk about living on purpose, or rather than in your purpose, or, So do you feel that since you died that you know your purpose, or you just know that there's a purpose to everything that happens?
There's definitely a purpose to everything that happens. I was given a book in 2003 when I was going to my Tai Chi class, and Tai Chi and Qigong and meditation class, called the Tao Te Ching. Have you heard of the Tao Te Ching? It's also known as the Book of the Way. And there's a lovely line in that says, everything is in its own time and place. That's one of the things that's stuck with me ever since. That, yes, everything is actually unfolding exactly in its own time and place. Everything. So even the negative, the bad things, they have to be there in order to
bring forth something else, huh?
Bring something else. I mean, we'd all love, to have the Mary Poppins click the fingers and sort of everything just goes, everything's just sorted, just like that. But there's a higher intelligence that works, and does it organize? It organizes itself. It's exactly where it needs to be. So
what would you say for you personally? I know you've done some research on NDEs and those sort of things, but for you personally, what would you say are the most significant things that happened to you after you basically had those 20 hours of trying to decide whether you were going to stay or go?
It's a good question.
And this could be significant over the period of the last 7.5 years. It doesn't mean to be on the day, okay? Really at how we kind of evolved because of these experiences, or how they're the catalyst for our evolution.
Yeah.
Making it much more rapid than it might have been if it hadn't happened.
I can't imagine what my life would be if it hadn't happened. I think I'd be lost. I think I'd still be very much stuck.
Okay. So that would be horrible then, huh?
I'd be in hell still. Yeah, literally. Where what I was given was a vision of heaven that is literally here on earth, and that we will create that. That can still sound a bit weird, I think, sort of like to anybody who's not really into this. And I've done a bit of research with the Mayan calendar as well, and they talk about this next age, the age of Aquarius, being the unity of humankind. I'm very aware that I have a part to play in that. I was communicated that I have a part to play in that.
Okay.
And that I chose to be at this time, and to go through this experience through EFT and the other things that I've got into: hypnosis, NLP, EMDR, EMIT, balanced procedure, Psyche, anything, any coaching tool or anything. It's freeing up the ego's need for love and approval, control and security.
Yeah.
So to come more to essence, and every human being is offered that opportunity in each lifetime. I think I've been here before as well. I think I've got an experience of, I've certainly been in regressive hypnosis and been back to quite a number of lifetimes.